One is hydrophones. So like if you have built a hydrophone, that's what we want in this white box. It's got there and a bunch of A to D board choices we can go over beyond the Orcasound and the.
I think, sorry, we have the slide, I think. Did you want to show your one slide on hydrophone, low-cost hydrophones? Okay, talk about that all.
Yeah, that's just a reminder that we have about $5,000 that could be put, if anybody wants to do this type of work, like we can buy you components, basically. These are all ones that have either been donated, like old Navy hydrophones, or ones you can buy, like this is the one that an Instructable leads you to purchase for about 10 bucks. Like that's the thing that does the conversion of pressure into electricity. So happy to like go through that with you over lunch. And then the other thing that happens if you just take a hydrophone, a little listening device, and your headphones to the beach, you can listen. So I often do when I'm prospecting for a new location. But then the question is, how do you put it in the water? Yes, so sometimes you just throw it in and it'll, like let it bounce around on the bottom. Other times you get to it, a pier and lower it down like a fishing rod. But it is also possible to combine a weight and a float. And then your challenge is like, how do you put the hydrophone, the weight, and the float together in a way that minimizes the noise that when you throw the hydrophone in and it's just bouncing around on the rocks. It's okay, it kind of works, but it's not perfect. The question is, can you take these materials in this box and make a way to hold your hydrophone more quietly than just bouncing around on the rocks? Things to do as you eat. Nice.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Bringing the gear.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Over here, I've got an expensive hydrophone. And then this is a disposable hydrophone, the kind the Navy used in their sonobuoys.
The white balance and exposure is really
We get a
good.
tour of it all.
Yeah. Yep. What's the speed of sound in water? It's like a kilometer a second? Is it?
1,500 meters per second.
Yeah, got it. Five times there.
Yeah, almost exactly.
340.
So that's the waterproof electrical cord.
Well, this is the hydrophone cable. So it's a heavier duty one than we're normally using, and this is a lighter duty one than we normally use.
And what does the hydrophone look like?
Oh, that's.
That's it right there. Or this is a different style.
Now did the Orcasound sound?
Kind of like an upside down. You can sing into this, can't you?
Yeah.
You guys don't have any of the cool DAS gear, do you? Where is that? Is it here?
Oh, the fiber optic stuff?
Yeah, it's at UW, right? It's at,
Yeah, all it is a big box with a fancy laser in it.
saw the photos, that's why I'm like, and a
Yeah.
lot of cable.
Yeah,
Big
that's
spool.
in the building, like right over there,
Okay, well,
next to the parking garage. Yeah, I can definitely talk to you and show you pictures, but yeah, totally different idea than these.
yeah,
guys.
that's, I mean, I'm interested in this too, but I saw the pictures and I was like, wow, that's a lot of cable. And like that massive spool, right?
Yeah,
How wide is that cable? I'm curious.
terrifyingly thin. Thinner than these
Oh,
wires.
really? Okay.
Yeah. The cable manually, one on the seafloor, like for telecommunications, those are.
There's a lead line.
Those are much bigger.
That's why I imagine them actually thicker.
Yeah.
Having a
So the ones in the
single.
lab over there are just.
Just
they're super
Where do you get all these
lightweight.
two parts? Is there like
How does the
a
armoring
source for
change the
hydrophone stuff?
data analysis?
Question.
Let's see, this one I
It
got
appears
when I was
probably
a
a
grad
lot of,
student. There was
Yeah, that's
a
what I think.
This big thick one.
Microphone
which is sort of-
company
It's got the.
didn't want to keep it on
fibers in the
shelves
middle,
anymore, so they
some
just gave
number of
me
fibers in the
boxes
middle,
of
and then a
them.
bunch of rubber, and then a bunch of steel, and then more rubber around that.
It's on your last
Big
8
jacket.
hours, so.
It's not clear that we heard
before
any
you-
Boxes of them
get
don't
through all
last
that,
forever.
but it might be also
Ah.
because of the
Don't
lead
last
on top.
That's what I just many
Stuff up
layers.
here is something we added on.
It's a little
to try to
frustrating
increase
because
the
it takes a while for
lifespan.
the residents to like learn how to process the data,
So
so.
the heavier duty
We started in
cable onto
August,
this.
October.
Big, right? I talked to one of the
Surface
students during Ocean Hack, who
Stronger
was trying
than
to
this
learn
would be. And this
task to be that big.
protected.
Yeah. It's really big.
Use case for a data or
You know, first I was thinking, I was like, oh, maybe you can optimize something, but then when he told me how big the data is, it's like, well, it is big, there's nothing to
like a radio
optimize.
signal coming out.
Because I think per day they're getting.
More than just like.
I mean,
Oh, this
yeah,
might be
like,
able to- yeah, this
not-
Yeah, the small,
Have
like the 1%
thousand
files.
This little wire to put them up on the side.
Everything's each.
Yeah, that's what, you know, like,
Pops out the bottom,
those,
drops down.
you know, even that is big.
How neat is that? And so would they use a radio
Yeah,
signal
lunch-
like drop
lunch
different?
is
something like that?
ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Took them a while to find us, but it's the timing.
Yeah, thank you for receiving it.
Just come like this, or did you have to assemble the whole thing?
Well.
They're a lot heavier than,
Yeah.
I've never actually gone to play, I've seen this a lot.
Depending on how you're
It's
using
less.
it.
Yeah,
Just to get some cat.
this one's made by the guy down in Olympia.
I don't think I did.
I think he's an ex-Navy guy who worked with Ken Off. And so he's done.
So there's really not a lot of building, or is there?
Sort of optimize them for human
Well,
listening.
yeah, it depends on.
Not for science. So
Yeah.
he's got it so that you can kind of.
Normally what I do is
Around
just
the rocks, all that rope. See, there's
shred stuff, just rope,
Yeah.
just plugs in back
That's what they
here.
call a non-flat response.
So how does he like design them to, for like, say, frequency responses, like what's the magic? Do you just?
Yeah, it's.
Is it like what materials you use, like what is the?
Process
I haven't
inside,
one open yet, but that's sort of, most people force you to like.
sink down under its own weight.
Dissect it.
You know,
I mean, is it,
sometimes you're in an area with a lot of
Assuming
wind.
there's
Instead of going straight down.
Different materials.
It goes back. And then it's not as
You,
deep.
Yeah, there's
have different frequency responses. I
There's a ton
don't know what you
It
do.
goes straight down.
Yeah,
One of these.
there's a ton of choices, like, in the end, you have to
Yeah,
choose.
and how often do you have to pull it up and
Material,
service it and?
ceramic, these are all-
Well, again.
And you have a lot of choices,
depends on
like
the
shape,
use,
that,
like,
thickness.
I usually pull it up
What you.
every few minutes because it'd be listening for whales, and whales are on the way. and I go catch up with whales. Listen.
All kind of compressing it.
Every few
Yeah.
minutes.
Like, a lot of it.
What about these?
choice of this.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't do that at Sunset Day or whatever.
Sunset Day, it's
So these are- And then the.
It's more permanent than
Does
this
it-
one.
This is the actual, this is
So I
actually.
gave two skates. We
Iso
could put this in
ceramic?
Sunset
Is
Day.
the-
That's the one
You can
that
actually give it a signal.
Yeah.
It's an expensive
You literally just solder,
I don't want to be.
solder to that.
Yeah, it's the wires.
They're wires.
Sorry, like,
Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess like,
it's like across the whole.
so the
thing.
permanent one has a different installation, it's like
Yeah.
more
This is a little, like,
stronger installation.
I call it the magic crystal.
Yeah, it's a piezo, like
Actually,
actual,
weaker one.
this makes the signal.
Got here.
So this is ceramic.
Ah.
And, yeah, so you have sound waves.
For a lot of these sites, you can put
There's
steel
on it.
shells around and.
The vibrations.
You get a lot.
So you pick up the signal, you amplify it a lot, and then you clean it up.
Instead of spending.
So all of these are all these three, and the ones that we donated to us.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually held a hydrophone, so I'm like, wow, they're way heavier than I.
You know, even normal
much is the new one?
microphones is all.
That's true.
the one that,
Well, that's a very different.
the other day you were asking whether we have one. Scott has one.
Well, it's interesting, because normal, it's like, normal microphones are very different technology, because now they're gonna be using like a.
So it's more about
Yeah.
the real investment is in the
That magnets.
Yeah.
location, is getting the location,
Yes, this is
access.
a cool one. This is from the sound movie.
Well,
You can see that that's the element.
necessarily.
The reason it's so heavy is because they have lead at the bottom of the.
Yeah, okay.
You can see.
Use the
So
lead.
what's the length to keep it?
Well, it's this
in
use
place?
case.
It's just like they can sync faster.
Right, is it all for frequency?
People listen.
As well. You
Well,
can
see,
do that.
this is where it's like almost magic.
Is this the weight?
It's probably as indestructible.
I think that's, I don't know.
That's
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
90, 80.
So
Yes, this is an old, this came from.
Makes sense to
So I think it's an.
replace a $500
Is the nation states, like, are these nationwide?
Yeah, that's a US.
$5,000.
It's probably classified, but it ended up in miles per
You
hour.
get,
Are there like?
you get like more,
Yeah, I wonder if like, Do they
Signal
sell
from
them?
a $5,000.
Well, this one's calibrated, so
Yeah, so I think
No.
that is a possible way to.
put signal in real
Sort of been
world
trying to say,
response.
no, don't do that. Like, let's go with something you can measure.
Inexpensive ones generally aren't calibrated, and they're not necessarily well behaved or measurable.
So that it's more reproducible.
I wonder how many, like, I wonder.
For a ship noise study, I would want to use
I think
this,
you could, I think it's probably thousands, they cycle through thousands per year. So
probably for
it's an interesting idea.
individual recognition study. I would want to use this, but for Orcasound, or I just want people to be able to listen to it. Using
Maybe
I
know the sound, underwater sound stuff.
Yeah.
You're not running,
Ask questions.
you're running to Orca hello off
Well,
of
there might be people who could
the
ask that question.
cheap ones.
I
Right.
think it's an interesting one. I've been trying to.
So, well, a lot of times we're talking
Is it
about
made in
like
someone's garage or is it like, do they have an assembly line? Like, are they doing?
call
like,
identification,
is it factory, like these are being produced in? That's
doing cheap recordings.
Some contractor.
I think you probably contact them, let's say, I'll never sell these.
Yeah, because it means when you
Yes,
place
there
a
are some groups
hydrophone,
like
it
in Southern
doesn't
California.
necessarily behave the same way as its predecessor.
Oh,
It's not
TC is a
quality
company
control
that
involved.
sort of like Raytheon or.
Yeah.
Hydrophones are actually hard to make,
And they do a lot of.
guys who make these probably throw out the
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I mean. Yeah, there's some like subdivision at some.
Have to sell the ones that are good enough to market for a lot more.
Yeah, so I contacted
Don't
Blue Deal or
you ever tried doing any
ITC was bought up by.
kind of noise reduction
And I contacted
editing
them.
on the
And said,
signal?
"Hey, these ones that you sell to the Navy, what would it cost?" Basically, we can't sell them to you, right? So their cheapest hydrophone is like a
In fact, an
$500.
analog filter you can use, the
Unless you
digital
can get this
filter.
direct from the Navy, it's like passed off because they're.
Most of them, yeah.
In a video, you take a room tone, right? Subtract the room tone from
Doesn't look that expensive.
No, I mean, you don't think so.
That's something. to-
Like-
These are,
These ceilings just look like something you would connect off the street.
Yeah.
Spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm sure these go through a
Pretty
whole
cool.
acquisition supply chain to get these.
Yeah.
Overall.
Costs to get all these.
You should have plenty, yeah, I mean, you got plenty
That comes
of
in a package that, you know.
evidence of what the background
The airplane
texture is.
has a floating component with an antenna, which
Oh.
Be able
is
to-
back to the airplane, and then this piece drops.
But you don't have
down.
to, Orca Hello doesn't do any of that, or
It's a saltwater application, so like, so it's using.
There is.
I just learned,
It's noise.
I didn't realize like,
Fun
how
signal.
the Navy actually does their sonar, like they do towed, like they're doing sonar.
Yeah.
Training example.
I didn't notice how, like, some are using towed and sonar.
Ideally, all different kinds of noise.
Yeah.
May arrive.
It just blew my mind, like how much engineering is.
Training
And of
Point
course,
Robinson.
we don't get to know all the cool specs, but
Yeah.
Wiper,
very impressive stuff.
working
So.
properly.
Some of these are some research surveys.
System got buried.
Like this kind of
Yeah.
Mud, in
the setup of a toll.
90 minutes or so.
In general,
Quite a-
it's more general.
We get
Research.
the
Oh,
scraps, right?
yeah.
We get the scraps from.
Literally.
Literally.
Years.
oh,
Quickly,
And research, but.
Yeah.
something, yeah, I said, this is not part of my training set for background noise, so I'm
I
apologetic.
think there's hundreds of these. So,
Yeah.
the cool thing is once you've got your like, if you
False positives.
add, you apply a voltage to it.
I've been kind of looking at some of the spectrogram stuff from the
Transducer. Because it can transport
recordings.
easy.
And,
And so the front of
it's
the
like,
submarines have.
like the actual Orca sound is quite a distinctive shape, you know? Anything that's not that is
The
pretty
mouth.
clearly not that, you know? It's like
It's like a
hurly.
Mouth and the
Thing that
ears.
looks like
It's both.
So what microphone do you recommend right now? This is the standard equipment here. What would you call the standard microphone now?
Yes,
From all your returns.
so it used, I would have said this one, because this was a $300 element made locally down in Olympia.
Or
by
flight signs.
One of our friends, like, Orcasound contributor, Lon Brockler's. And, but they're not good for like science measurements. They're really good. He sort of designed these specifically for human listening. So they're very sensitive at 5 kilohertz and then rapidly less sensitive as you go higher. So it's not bad, but he also isn't selling them on eBay anymore. I'm trying to kind of get him off that email. It's hard to reach. So
Well,
that's my
yeah, I
second
guess
choice
I
at the moment.
didn't realize, I mean, I've heard
The
also.
first choice was this guy, which used to be made locally by a guy in Ballard. This one, yes, this is a CRT, so it's Asian Research Technology. And he just sold this company to a guy in Golden, Colorado. So it's not too far away, and the turnaround time can, if he's doing well, is like, could be 2 weeks rather than 2 months. So you can get him pretty fast. I like the way he's going, like he's going with a nice low profile.
And how does he sell it? Is this like,
Yeah, so he's got a website.
he has his own website that you run, right?
Yeah, so pretty easy to say.
You don't find them on Amazon, but it's also not an Etsy thing.
That's right. Yeah, it's somewhere in between. It's a going concern. He's doing some interesting engineering, like he added this through hall mounting. So I think this is gonna make it easier for us to mount these. In some of our situations. So I think that's my first choice right now is this CRT. But there's also
And how much did you say he was selling those ones for?
well, he's giving us a little discount, but 500 without discount it's gonna be 4.
Right, okay.
So a little more expensive, but much flatter frequency response. Pretty good turnaround time and reliable, knowing person you can talk to about customer support stuff. There's also Aquarium, which is even more local. So I think it's worth continuing to explore. They're in Anacortes. So
I don't think it's valuable to have, here's this cookbook online with like, here's our standard parts list or whatever. If you're thinking of one, here's the,
it's a spreadsheet right now, which would be probably way too complicated. We could distill it down to like, these are the best for this application. Yeah, you could help us pioneer that documentation probably. The nice thing about the aquariums is they're lasting longer. He's also actively making.
So which one are you talking about now? One that you don't have or?
I don't think I have that one. I didn't bring an aquarium, but I only mentioned it because Val was able to like order one recently and pick it up a couple of days later.
Oh, okay.
Just as we drove through Anacortes. So, you can actually go talk to the guy rather than just waiting for an email.
I see.
So I think it's worth.
But you're saying right now that would be your number 3 on the list. It's not as good as the other 2.
I think because I still don't trust them to last a long time in the marine environment. Like I go these guys first.
Yeah.
And then honestly, it's
It's
a
just
toss.
proven, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Kind of depends on if you, what your application is. If you want to do empirical science, maybe I would put the aquarium above this lab core. But if you want, these have lasted for like 5 years, just dangling underneath the aquarium. So not this model. This will last a long time. Yeah.
This box must sit out of the water.
Yeah. The goal.
Just have to.
I mean, yeah.
This is keeping out rainwater.
There's the other end of the big blue cable that's on the shore.
Yeah. So your hydrophone, ideally, let's say you could actually use this hydrophone if you could get this box to the end of the dock. Then you could just literally dangle this between the pilings.
How long is the cable on those ones?
This is
right now,
10 meters. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And he can put, that's another nice thing about it. Is you tell him the length and he can put your cable on so that it's, you don't have to do any underwater splicing, which will usually shortens the life of the deployment. So yeah, this would be all you would bring in from the ocean. You could bring in 2 of these, Peter, if you wanted redundancy or to do something fancy, but for basic listening, you'd only need 1. And the only thing coming out would be your PoE cable. So you're only using 2 or 3 of these little ports. And so, the other components are, and this is basically, green would be your signal coming in. So you have two input signals. You can listen on a headphone jack locally using our software, but you don't have to. And the signal is coming out through your Ethernet BOE would be split here. So this would be,
And I'm testing it without PoE. Power and Wi-Fi.
which is going to be.
Now, of course, I don't have a hydrophone connector, right? But as far as the audio stream from there.
Yes, we use the we use the PoE.
What's PoE mean?
Power over Ethernet. So this is an Ethernet cable.
Cool.
And instead of just sending information, you can also send power over it.
Cool.
It's got a lot of extra wires in it. So that would be all you'd have coming out of your ocean in and bits out. So that's the basic picture.
So into this is on a dock somewhere.
Yeah, let's see, I think in most of our locations, it's inside on a desk. But at Bush Point, it's outside in a slightly different, slightly more advanced weatherproof enclosure, like underneath an awning, but it's definitely getting salt spray. It's been working for a year or so.
I didn't check, but does this have ways to anchor it to, if it's outside, cause you think about, winds and storms and things like that, is it gonna
Yeah,
move around or is there some way to anchor the physical container?
this one, not so much. I think this was mostly designed in Britain to be, right next to your Christmas lights. Like put your power strip in there and run all your Christmas lights in, power in, lights out. And I've used it for that this winter. It works well for that.
Otherwise, it's like, duct tape with something else to
Yeah.
just zip tie or
Sure.
anchor.
There's another one that's made in the United States that Trevor at Bush Point tried, and it did have screws for wall mounting.
This is the same one that you gave me. Right?
Yeah, so mostly this sits on a desk near or on a deck. I think in the North San Juan Channel, it's outside on the deck.
Yep.
It's still protected by the
Yeah,
roof.
I was there. I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do one where we get it a little closer to the ocean bigger and like subject it to some waves and salt spray and see if it survives, but that might happen.
Well, if I do mine outdoors, it'll be salt spray.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it could happen at Dave's place. Yeah.
UV.
What's that?
UV degradation.
Yeah, we'll see. There has been one of these on Val's Bluff for a couple of years, but it's been fine, but it's just has a power cable in it and it's underneath the pine tree, so it's.
yeah, his tree got a lot of shade.
Yeah.
Whereas mine, there's one tree next to the power plug, but not much shade.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Many years ago, I was in Nicaragua with a wireless network.
Uh-huh.
It feels like coming full circle a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
Designing little boxes like this.
Was it like a mesh net kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so Dave's experiments will probably help us understand like whether you can just, how far away from a existing wireless network you can plug one of these. How do you power maybe all you need is an AC power plug or a little solar panel.
I've got an AC power plug that's pretty close to the actual water itself, so.
Yeah, if we go with the solar option, which Dave's thinking about, like a fluid solution, there's something between the two, will maybe overlap. We're using the Raspberry Pi 4 for this guy. And it seems to be fine with just like 1 gigabyte of RAM. But we could go to like lower power devices and just experiment. So I've had on my list for a while to use one of these guys, so Pi 0. It's getting a little smaller and much less power supply. And
Is
then,
there something you're concerned about the power supply?
You want to see
AC at the end.
yeah, so
You can use the.
I don't think,
But probably off of solar, how long is it gonna?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, is if they're going to solar.
yeah, like if Dave wants to do a GUI, it's gonna have a battery probably. So either using power to get the signal through wireless, right? But often hydrophones need a little bit of power to amplify. So that's a whole different way of choosing your hydrophone. Low power or one that doesn't have a preamp, but is sensitive enough for your question.
You really shouldn't need a lot of processing power if you're doing all this. Like,
Yeah, although now
or
there might be some edge computing people coming, so there may be more requests.
on device processing, for signal processing.
Yeah, Val's been tinkering with that, and then some people are.
So if it's super battery operated, you want to offload as much of that as possible and just get the raw audio signal and do all the processing on something that's not easy.
But Wi-Fi isn't free either, right? If you're pushing more data.
Yeah.
You have to power your radio.
Right. I'm gonna grab a sandwich, but I know Dave has some thoughts on radios, which I'm gonna hear. He'll be right back.
And I think some of the new Wi-Fi stuff should have the IEEE and Wi-Fi lines to kind of get low power Wi-Fi. And so there's some active work there. Could you use 802.15.4 radios and stuff? I think you looked at things like that in the past, right?